Hello. I wanted to talk about today. I wanted to talk about, um, it's kind of serious. I think it's a problem within many people's minds, which has been arising slowly, and it's automation. Um, I've never really looked into it deeply, like how it's going to affect us moving into um, humanity moving into the 21st century. I think it started a long time ago and was a process of, um, I don't think anybody knew what it really was until, I don't know, until I realized it. It was like, what I realized was automation is the miniaturization of consciousness. It's like people don't realize that they are space itself. It's like, so the, there was like a process that needed to be automated because the people didn't want to do the work, except what they didn't realize was they were the universe. Like the automation itself is the miniaturization of consciousness. It's like a process that was this big because it had like 10 people involved. 10 people is a large number of space, but what people don't take into account is their internal space. It's like if 10 people lost their jobs also, it's like a problem because, like, 100 people lost their jobs to a single robot that just continuously works. um, like that was 100 people. That's a lot of potential that is gone, that doesn't have jobs anymore, isn't able to make money, isn't able to do all these things. It feels like a self-writing prophecy though. Like everything just feels like it's like not able to be changed. But we can try. I mean, it seems very bleak because people use automation all the time to, and they don't realize what they're actually doing though. But you are the universe. So just think of 100 universes and think of 100 large potentials. That's what people are. It's like people, we created the robot, which was going to automate our process, and then it completely discounted the fact that, I mean, the robot wasn't to blame, but it was us that was overlooking the importance of ourselves. And instead of a system that involved us, we just cut ourselves out of the process and didn't see value in our work. Like we were working together. It didn't have to mean that we were building something for a moment. We could have been doing anything, but instead we just wanted to expedite the process. It's like we believe that speed is, I don't know, we sacrificed space for time or something, but space and time are the same. It's like space and time are the same thing. It's like space time. It's real, but it's an illusion. It doesn't even exist really. Like time is an illusion. The same as space. The same is true. What is true for time is true for space. Quality time, quality space. Um, you know, but automation is a problem that we have to face because it's overlooked. It's like automation. Yep, we need it. We need it because it's going to make everything better. It's going to make everything faster, more efficient. We're going to have more products. We're going to get the approval of our managers, and everybody's just going to be happier because we don't have to do as much work. Except I find that, I don't know, it doesn't make me happy because it overlooks people. It's like it's cutting through jobs. It's pretending that these people weren't being fulfilled by their work already. Like they could have been being fulfilled. Like you could have taken 100 jobs that were like supplying beauty to our universe because they were just happy. It was like 100 people working on something, but you wanted to make it faster. It's like the what automation really sacrifices in so many regards is quality. It's like quality is what is missing in automation. You program something, an automatic process within the universe, and you pretend that it's some sort of replication of quality. I don't believe in that. It's like, I don't believe a beautiful quality item that somebody makes can be replicated. It's like, what is really not able to be replicated is people. It's like, you are overlooking your experience so purely that you don't even realize that you're the beautiful part. It's like, you are the beautiful part. Make yourself first, and don't worry about what other people think or say or do. You're overlooking quality in so many ways when you automate a process. You think you can, like, you think the universe will even allow you to do that? Like, a, that's such a vast assumption. It's so crazy. It's That's the biggest assumption that I've ever heard. It's like, you can make something and then just press a button to copy it. Like, it goes even to the internet. Like, you can't copy beauty if you're original. Like, that is what is always been the problem. That's that just you should realize that copying, replicating these functions that we claim work don't work. They shouldn't work at all. It's like, what are you automating? A process of replication in many companies and factories and stuff. Has it given us a certain quality of life? Perhaps. I mean, like, I can have as many golf balls as I want because golf balls are continuously just pumped out. Like, it seems like we've set everything to replicate. It's like, why did we do that? It's like everything is being replicated. There's a factory line for everything these days. I just wonder where it ends. It's just, I understand that we have a certain quality of life in my house because I have everything that I need here. Like, this is a fucking heated blanket. There's like things that we buy for ourselves that we like for ourselves. I'm just saying, beauty can't be replicated. If you took that to heart, you would realize that no matter you only did that for profit though. There was no other reason. It's like, you would only automate a process if you wanted more money. It was like, it seems to be greed driven, which is why things feel lifeless and useless most of the time, because most of the time they are. They're just completely useless. It's like, this was just a replicated piece of shit that nobody put any love into. They literally just coded it. They just coded a system to continue to replicate things. It's like, then there's no originality in what you've made and designed, even though it would have been, I mean, it's inevitable, but I'm just saying, you can't replicate love. Like, you can't. If you think you can replicate love, then you got another thing coming, because there's only one love story that you're going to live. I mean, you are love. You can't replicate yourself. You'll never replicate yourself. My experience and my being and my everything is never going to be replicated. I mean, this was like a one-off. Whatever you know what I mean? I'm an individual soul, heart, mind, body, presence, everything. Sometimes it feels like things have happened in which I could, like, live multiple lives or experience multiple people's perspectives. This is like, oh, can two love stories exist simultaneously? Like, when I die, I'll find somebody else to love. Yes, that is true. I mean, like, you can't pretend that after you die, you don't become somebody else and you'll find love in a distant future after you become reincarnated and re-climb the ladder of intelligence or something. Like, okay, everything dies when you die, pretend, and then there's just an empty world with no people, and then consciousness like starts over or something, and then you find somebody else to love. I suppose that could be, but everybody wants a strong love story that doesn't copy. that is purely unique, that is unlike any other. I mean, that's what you really want. You don't want two of the same stories. It's like, okay, great. And here's the same story again. Like, okay, I want more than that. I want something unique with every. I mean, like, I wouldn't mind living multiple love stories, but it's not able to be reality. I mean, that's not reality. We're living in a place that is wrought with problems, and I have to face them because you can't just pretend you're living love stories by like watching movies and pretending that you're all these people or something. I mean, that's what people do, and they get lost in their dreams and stuff. It's kind of sad, but honestly, I don't know anymore. I just want quality things. That's my real goal, I think. The but the title of this video is going to be consciousness, automation, the miniaturization of consciousness. Because when you think about it, it's like you didn't realize that you are more than you create, especially when you're on a factory line, especially when you're on a on a on something that is just a replication process of something that has happened before. If you're making something that people have um, made before, just stop yourself and just be like, how can I be original within myself, within my humanity? How can I create a unique experience for myself? How can I create a unique time for myself, a unique space for myself, a unique, I think experience trumps even time and space because experience is closer to um, awareness, and awareness has no time and space. It's like you're aware of your experience, but you do that in a way that is not. That's like perception. Becoming aware of experience is becoming aware of is becoming aware of your own perception of reality. And your own perception of reality is my perception of reality is my own perception. It's like no one can take your perception away. No one can experience reality for you. No one can be aware for you. You have to be aware for yourself. It's like I am aware of my own experience, my own, and that aware and being aware of your own experience is your perception of reality. Just to get this clear in my mind because it's always been kind of fuzzy for me. So, what are you overlooking when you create things in a long process line? I think we're missing so much. It's like I want quality things. I don't want replicate. I don't want mass replication processes occurring. I mean, like everybody wants to have the same story. It's like the only reason something like that would exist, and it feels so powerful. Like all these same love stories, just like I was making Jeeps on a factory line, and um, I saw the replication. I mean, I saw the automation in it. I saw automation in its manifested reality for the first time. I knew it was coming for a long time, but I never really realized how it was going to click with me because I had always just worked myself, making my own experience. It's like I had always just worked for myself, making my own money and making my own experience. And I had never experienced up to that point the automation that I always knew was somewhere being used to create something. It's like people are ignorant about the quality that they make things. Like, just make beautiful things. There's no more time to lose. You have to make something beautiful for yourself. And if you don't, then you're just going to live somebody else's dream again. It's like we're just going to be stuck in a stupid time loop because everybody's just driving the same exact car. Like, you're we're all driving like a manufactured piece of shit, like that runs our society in some way, but it doesn't as well. It's like, okay, great. I mean, like, the magic that you thought was in something wasn't in something all along. I'm just taking it all out because there's no magic left after you copy something. It's like you made I don't know. There's a factory line for this candle, and it just there's it's what you believe it is. It's like the people are the more important part at this point because we already have tons of millions of stuff. Like we have warehouses full of stuff, and I know you can't sell it. It's like we have just storehouses. People think it's gonna just be like translated directly into money just because they made it. It's like hopefully we can start to see that it's not love. It's just an automated illusion of something that was created initially. Like somebody took some love and care and actually created some candles for themselves. I mean, for like local people around them. Like, but instead we just thought like, no, we're just gonna make something. This we're just gonna make the same thing. We're just gonna like put this in a process and just like I don't know, just automating things and making like 10 of them if I had 10 of them here and like they just came out of nowhere. I don't know. You can't do that. You can't do that. I mean, I don't think anybody has the ability to just make multiple items. Like, then maybe you do. I mean, like, you can just. That's true for that. That's what they're doing though. They're replicating their money. They think that the dollar that they made was able to be replicated. Like, what are you replicating? I just don't understand the time and space like that you think you're replicating. Um, here's my theory. No, I'm just kidding. I don't really think. I think I don't. I'm joking. I have this huge like. It's a joke, but it's like you can. What really was it replicated was me, because all the ladies wanted to be with me, and they all wanted a love story, and they all wanted to they knew that they were never going to find anybody better than me. So what did they try to do? They tried to replicate me. That's what happened. They were like, I know we're never going to find anybody better than Elliot. Like he's the one that I want, and everybody thought that. So what happened? They tried to split me. They were just like they tried to split me right down the middle and say I was in all these different timelines, and they just all wanted to be with me. So what did they do? They just stole my mind, and they just broke me apart. You know, they broke my heart into a million dimensions because they all wanted a little piece of it for themselves. That's what happened. I'm kidding. I don't think that's what happened. That would be funny though. It's funny to think of like somebody was I don't know. It just fragments reality and it doesn't um it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that people I mean it makes sense that people want more money because everybody wants the power or whatever to do something for themselves, but everybody wants more power and influence. That's why automation I guess started, but the strange experience I had was the being a witness of automation as a miniaturization of consciousness because people didn't understand how big they were. It's like you're mistaking yourself for those parts that you're making. You're so much more than that. Don't put yourself into your work if you're just going to make the same thing over and over and over. Don't put yourself into your work if you're going to make the same thing over and over and over. It's like you're not a robot. Don't pretend you are. You're a human and you want quality experiences for yourself and you don't want people to experience the same thing over and over because you don't want to experience the same thing over and over. You don't want to experience the same thing over and over. I mean, it's a harsh reality of like, yes, we are manufacturing things, and often it is a good thing, but at some point, if we don't realize what we're doing to ourselves, which is just like replicating shitty experiences, like that's the future of reality in some sense. It's like we have we have set ourselves up and automated the production of shitty love stories. Like, I guess that's the next thing you would automate as a society, as a civilization. You know what I mean? You would be like, okay, we got all of the material, like we can build houses for people, we can build lives for people. This is like me as like a crazy, pretending to be some crazy company that's going to like, you know, not a company, but somebody like God who wants to like you understand where I'm going with the money. Like if you go with the money, you understand that what would be produced next would be experiences because all these people aren't in control of themselves and you instead of I mean like instead of no company or like oh it's the government they're all like some big technologies were created and they're automating experiences and there's some shitty level of experience that everybody can have and then you get up to a point where you're just like free. It's like this is all bullshit. Just don't believe any of that. I don't know. Don't believe in yourself. You have to make money. You have to make um, time and space for yourself, but it's an illusion that time and space even exist. So we find ourselves in a strange place. I mean, you are the you are the universe. I don't know what other way to put it. It's like you are the universe. What else can I say? You are the universe. There's nothing else for it. I mean, like what else could you have at that point? What else do you need if you are the universe? All you have to realize is yourself inside. You have to realize who you are. You have to go digging deep for why everything's so fucked up, but it's you that's fucked up. Like it's you that's messed up. Like that's what you have to realize. You have to realize that you're just I don't know. You have to realize how messed up things have gotten. I've realized like so much though. I've realized there's nothing that I can't realize. There's nothing that I can't realize. Um, and I don't know, but this is a strange reality though. I see it as like automation now is the miniaturization of consciousness. It's like the people were a more spacious reality, except we've taken a large number of people and we condensed it to one person. It's like that's the conscious reality that I deal with. It's like okay, there's literally 100 people that are being tossed away for a process to become automated, and it becomes the illusion of quality. It's like these people might have been doing a good job and making things with love and having happy lives, and then all of a sudden we get this. Okay, we're gonna have like a process. Like you can still have a good life and not have like and not be part of like the automation of consciousness. I don't know what else to say about it because it doesn't feel good to work there. Like it didn't feel good to work there. It was like what is happening to me in the sense that I see myself as everything. I am consciousness, but it would continue to like just like it was a reality that I was continuously faced with. It was like what are we doing? But I had always been aware my whole life throughout all of my jobs that automation was happening. It's like why everything was created. But it's useless to have things if they don't actually exist. Like things don't really exist. Everything is just consciousness. only you're the one that's making beauty within this. It's like this remote could be beautiful if I make it beautiful. If I see a beautiful essence within it. If I give it a soul, if I give it a heart, if I give it a mind, a body, uh, legs and toes, and I make it feel, then I'm doing that out of love. It's like that is something done out of love. People don't realize that. It's like the same as having a child is the same as being an artist, is imagining something beautiful and something that you let go of. It's like you can't just force somebody to let go of things. You can't just be like, all right, this is something that I love and now it's a part of me and now I'm just going to let it go even though I love it. It's like that's what artists do. They are in a process of like letting go. The artist, the most beautiful artist knows how to let go for love. The most beautiful artist knows how to let go for love. I think that's pretty true. It's like there's beauty in the fact that when you love something, you let it go. And you can get good at that. And then what can you not let go of? Everything. If you let go of everything, it'll all come back to you. That's how it works. Um, so automation, the miniaturization of consciousness, because people couldn't realize how beautiful they were. They saw these objects as themselves, and then they they took themselves out of the equation and let the process run by itself, essentially. Like, from some weird perspective, the automation of consciousness is like, think of the automation of consciousness first. That will reveal the miniaturization aspect. And I say miniaturization because if it was a large number of people working on something quality, working to make something of quality, that's different than a lot of idiots standing around doing nothing because their process has been automated. It's like it might take longer, but what else do you have to do? It's like make beauty in the world. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't mind being a part of a process that wasn't automated. It's like I just want to be like a part of a process that isn't automated. It's like I want to make these parts, but I want to do it by hand just because it'll have more love and care. It'll take longer, but who's dying to have these parts if they're not going to be made of love? It's like who's going to be sadder, the people when we realize the shit that we've made. It's like the time that we've wasted. We don't think we've wasted any time online. It's like the internet's been a good thing or whatever. Like, it hasn't been. But how does wasted time manifest in reality? It's probably like automation. Automation, we just automate bullshit into existence and pretend that this mass fragmentation of consciousness is anywhere near sane. It's like, that's not sane. That's insane that you don't even realize what you're making anymore. You overlook the whole process. It could be a freaking frog. It's like you don't even know what you're making. You don't know what you're making because you don't care. Why would you care if something's automated? It's like the first person who made it, when you automate these robots, designed the system to perfectly create something like auto part in its entirety, and then the next time it's just created again, except the illusion is that the same amount of love was put into that second part. It's like there was no love in the second part. It just automatically happened out of nowhere. It's like you can't attribute magic to love. Love is not magic. So that part isn't anything. It's just an illusion. It's like the first thing to be made is beautiful, but the second is just, what is it? at that point. It's just an automated part, but if we believe, it's like instilled with people's belief. It's like everybody believes it's the same amount of love went into the second part, but it wasn't. It was just, what is it? It's just automated. It's just an automated process of like replication, but it's not beautiful though. It's pain that exists. I think you create pain at that point because you're creating pain for people. You're creating, instead of, like, you're forcing people to believe that that second part has any value near the first part. If I make something beautiful like a guitar and then it's automated, like, it's just messed up. It's just messed up. Some things should just be beautiful, one-off things. Which is true for people, and I mean, that's more true for people than anything. People are one-offs. They're they're like, you know, I don't know who makes people. You can help people make their experience and you can influence people's experience, but no one's really making your experience except for you. It's like God isn't going around being like the ultimate artist, like nitpicking your experience for you. You have a certain amount of freedom. You have you have freedom in your own experience, in your own mind, in your own space, in your own time. All these things. They're just, you have that freedom. So you don't have any real limits if you realize it. You don't have the limits that you've been stuck within your mind to believe. You're creating your own mind. Even on an automation scale, I realize that this is true. It's like we're creating our own mind. Do we realize that? And how little we care when we automate something. It's like if we realize ourselves as consciousness and our mind is everything, you're creating your own mind because we are creating our own experience. So, what is automation at that point? It's just, it dumbfounds me because it's just such a stupid process. And I've been trying to calmly debunk it for the past long time. It's like, I could have been happy living in a less industrialized society. Cities are just cesspools of terror and pain, and everybody's way too close to each other. It's all just built upon greed because there's no real love in places that shouldn't exist. Because in industry and mass greed and these things that built these things, this is the truth. I don't know how else to put it. It's like cities shouldn't really exist. If anything, I want some beautiful, everybody should have some beautiful castle somewhere because everybody should have their own space and time and everything because everything is infinite. It's like there's no reason why I shouldn't have that. Instead, I just get these cities and like, oh great, I get a city. Like, why would I even want to be a part of this reality, honestly? Like, cities are just, they're shitty. Cities are shitty. They're sometimes fun to go to, but because there's so many stories culminating in one place, it's like there's a beauty to a city. I see the beauty in cities, but it seems to me unconsciously we've accepted that a city is some beautiful thing without really looking into it. We also use cities as like, up, it's happening. It's like it's happening in the city. This is all true, but it seems like we just automated the production of buildings of everything, and then it went all the way to the automation of people's experiences, which was the complete loss of originality. Because I don't want to see the same stupid love story in the same stupid movie again. I don't want to see the same stupid, um, the same stupid stuff repeated over and over again in time. But that just comes back to be original within yourself. And if people really took that to heart, they would realize that what they were really missing in what they were creating was themselves. If you wanted to create something more beautiful for yourself, you wouldn't create yourself in the same way every time, which is to say, you wouldn't want to feel the same thing forever. You would want to feel something different, which is to say, there is reincarnation, because you're not going to want to feel this way forever. You're not going to even want to be yourself forever. I want to be somebody else in the future after I die. Like, why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I want to be somebody else in the future just to see what their perspective was? You know what I mean? Like, that's what I wish had happened throughout history, or like after you die, then you experience that somebody else's path through history or something, but you do it as yourself. I don't know. I've had crazy ideas that have just blown my mind, and the depth of things is always crazy, but the depth of yourself that you're using to create these things is pretty surface most of the time. You're coding things into existence, and people are being, I mean, I'm not coding things into existence. I'm just experiencing. I think I don't know, there's no emotion involved in automation. If there was emotion involved in what you created, there should always be emotion involved in what you create. What is really missing is an emotional aspect of what you create. I think that first part was made with emotion. And what was the second part made with? It's like, I made this out of love and emotion. And then what automatic process could reproduce that? None. There is no automatic process that can replicate that. It's not possible. It's like you it's the same thing. There's no automatic process that can replicate the beauty that people can see within things. There's no automatic process that can replicate somebody's perception. It's like, you can't replicate a beautiful perception of reality. You can't. You can try, and you can pretend that somebody isn't something unique, but this is just our universe. You can't replicate my perception. My perception is solely my own, and 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 I want, and I see beauty within things. It's like, you'll never be me. You'll never see the beauty that I see within things. You can claim that you can wish and be nostalgic that you are the people of the past, and maybe you want to see things as other people sees them. There's nothing wrong with being nostalgic and being there's nothing wrong with being nostalgic. There's nothing wrong with being um, for wanting to be somebody else. There's nothing wrong with um, having your own perspective and having your own um, view of beauty in the world, a view of God or something. Like, that's what you can't replicate. It's not possible. It's just not possible. Awareness is all there really is. It's just, you are aware. Awareness cannot be replicated. There is no two awarenesses. It's just awareness. You are aware. The universe is aware. There was never two awarenesses. It was always just awareness. Which is kind of sad, actually. If you realize yourself as awareness, then it becomes like, no one. I know people exist, except if there's only one awareness, if you ever had an experience of becoming awareness, you'd be like, oh, great, there's no one. There's no one. There's no one because I was awareness. I don't know. Automation just is. I don't know. I understand it saves people from working, but it's just like, how are we gonna get out of this hole? Because it's probably going to hurt us more than it's going to help us. I mean, eventually we might realize that we got everything we wanted because we automated things and copied things into existence and pretended that we could replicate things and they would have the same amount of love inherent within them, but we didn't create them with emotion at that point. We created them with logic. It's like you create a song with beauty and love. It can't be replicated. If you try to replicate the same song with logic, it loses its splendor and wonder and originality. It's like only you can add that to something, and you can even add it multiple times. You can add things to your own songs like later. You know, you can change songs. You made them. So So why does it feel like automation is the miniaturization of consciousness? It's because people don't realize how vast they are inside. It's like I'm going to automate something, but what are you really doing to consciousness from the perspective of like consciousness is everything. There is no material universe that you're replicating. It's just I don't know. The process itself it's just messed up. It's just messed up. I don't know. I have no real like awareness of the implications of what is going to happen because we automated things. It's like it happened so fast. Like I understand it happened faster than anybody was really aware of it, but we have to face our own mistakes in that we made things for profit and we made things for like you can't just pretend that reality doesn't exist. It's like you even if you just oversaw an automation plant, it's like what did you really oversee? It was like the automation and sacrifice of greed. It's like sacrifice, not sacrifice, you sacrificed for greed. It's like you normalized greed in the sense that you normalized automation. you normalized you normalized the process that people this is all about automation and how everybody's losing their jobs because they don't have jobs anymore. Everything's just automated and everything's just created out of a place of faster material. I mean, like faster, faster, faster. It doesn't even matter if it works. Like we just gotta sell these bad boys because everybody's buying. So why is everybody buying? That's the real question. It's like everybody's buying because they're just eluded that it's actually something that it's not. Buy quality things from local people and then you'll be happy. You'll be a lot happier if you like buy from the farmers market and buy from local places and try to be a part of things on a local level instead of like buying a billion remotes from China because you're Xfinity and then you just like produce them and it really has no meaning anymore. Like anything. Like what have we done to ourselves? What have we done to life? What have we done to the earth? I don't know. But automation as an artist seems like the worst thing that could happen, you know? It's like automation from an artist's perspective is the complete loss of originality. Automation from an artist's perspective is the like complete loss of authenticity. You just make things and you don't know why and you don't care why. You just do it as fast as you can because you're automating things and you're just making things reproducible. You're just reproducing. There's no that why would you want to be a reproducer? It's like what do you do? I reproduce. I'm just that's just a function of a robot though. I mean, the function of a robot is to just that's the function that we gave to the robot is to reproduce. They just reproduce things over and over and over. It's like yes, yeah, you have to realize that you are the most original reproducer. Nothing is ever original anymore. You can't even make anything original. A video is kind of individual, but always be aware that you're making your own experience. I think that's the most original thing you can make. That is what's really going to fight the. Um, I see it as like a storm now. It's like everybody's going to have the same experience and experience the same bullshit over and over and over, and that's going to kill people's minds. It's going to kill creativity. It's going to kill creativity. I mean, like, people haven't faced that as a reality, though. They just assumed that what they were doing was somehow going to be sustainable. It's like things change so fast that you have to realize that creativity is what's really missing in automation. I mean, what else could be what else could it be? That's my question. It's like, what can we do with all this pain that's coming? That's always been my question. I mean, I'm pretty good with mitigating pain and creating and finding ways, just ideas that satisfy my own mind in um, mitigating pain and stuff. Because the loss of creativity is a huge deal. It's like those people that weren't allowed to be alive anymore. It's like those people weren't even allowed to be alive anymore. They were just like, no, we're just gonna automate this. We gotta go faster, man. Faster. Faster. It's like, stop it. You don't know what you're doing. Just shut the fuck up. You don't even know yourself. You don't even know you're making your own experience. It's just dumb. It's really dumb. I'm worried and I'm scared that people are just gonna make things without any care for themselves, without any knowledge that they're making something that is themselves, which is reality. It's like manifesting reality. You are manifesting your own reality. Being aware of your own experience means having your own perception. A perception is an art piece. That's an art piece. That's my art piece. I mean, I don't know who made perception, except perception is art. Perceive in an artistic way. I mean, no one is ever going to say that to you except for me. I don't know who else would say that to you. Like, perceive in an artistic way. The fact that I can even say that is, and gift you the time that you need to start perceiving in an artistic way. Perceive time in an artistic way. Perceive space in an artistic way. Because the more people that do that, the more people we hopefully can bring into awareness of, we want things to be more artistic. I don't just want to see cities all the time. I want to see beautiful realms, and I want to see things that I haven't even imagined. I want to see what people imagine. And the best way to do that is to create like a stream of consciousness that is a perception. It's like awareness itself is everything. And then from awareness, we get like knowledge, and not knowledge, but awareness perceives experience. That's not entirely true, because we are perceiving our own experience. I perceive myself within my experience. But that's what we always miss, is ourselves. It's like we miss ourselves when we say that we are aware. Then it's like you can't be unaware of yourself anymore. It's not even possible. So be aware of yourself, and be aware that you're creating yourself in what you make physically and emotionally within your mind. You're just be aware of yourself. To be self-aware is to want originality. To be self-aware is to desire creativity. To be self-aware is to want to escape this reality in some sense and realize human potential to be all that it can be, which is more than anyone imagines. So why do we trap ourselves? It's because of love. It's because we love being trapped. Like, you're trapped in your mind. We like being trapped in our minds because we haven't known anything different. We've always been like, yeah, I just like being trapped in my mind. I don't know why you would, though. I mean, if you just realize yourself as someone or something or anything, doesn't matter what, just feel your presence, feel your body, feel your brain, feel your mind and your heart and your soul, and just be present within your own experience. And you don't need to solve everything right now, because everything isn't going to be solved right now. But this video is just about the miniaturization of consciousness that is automation, which is a illusion of space. It's like, I just saw it in a weird way and I just realized it was true. So I that was it though. I was just like, damn, I have this perspective that is very capable of enlightenment, very capable of creating a positive change in the world, because it is simple in that people overlooked themselves, but they overlooked themselves because they were either just doing what they were told or out of love. I don't know. Maybe they're just doing, I mean, like, I was a part of this job and I was automating things and I was a part of this automatic process. And I realized that happens all over the world for many different industries. Like, there's literally, I mean, like, it's not that common, but it's still pretty common. I just worry about the loss of originality and creativity and the loss of, I don't know, individuality, because you become because we become so robotic in our systemized reality. We become so robotic in our emotion and in our, even in our perception, because even our perception seems to be trapped within our minds within this patterned state of, I'm gonna just watch the same things over and 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 listen to the same things over and over and over and over and over. It's like everybody's creating the same experience of themselves within the world because they don't know how to create a unique experience for themselves. I mean, that's fucked up. That's not good. You're just doing a job and you don't know why, but you need the money. I mean, yes, that's the reality of it, because that's the reality of the world. But it's really depressing, and I can't even live anymore. I don't even want to be alive anymore because it's just too fucking hard. I don't know what else to do except say, hey man, you can't just like, you can't not focus on yourself. I can't not face these problems either. I don't want to know what's not true. I want to get to the bottom of the truth and the reasons why. And I refuse to let people say that it's not possible, that it's not possible to create this level of beauty in the world that I want to see for people. I want to see this happen. I want to see beautiful things happen. I want to go new places. I don't want to be stuck in cities. Like, I feel all this contraction of consciousness, which is just a huge amount of energy. It's like all these people are stuck in their minds in consciousness behind a screen, and they don't have any awareness of themselves. They don't have any awareness of who and what they are. They don't have, it's like, it's huge, the problems that we face. What have we done to ourselves? And it's just messed up. And it's hard to realize the truth and stay with it and not become unconscious of it. It's like, it's hard to remain in a conscious state of awareness. It's not hard. Once you become aware, you really can't become unaware. But people do all sorts of tricks to not become aware of the dark reality that they're in and that they face. It's like automation is coming for a ton of people's jobs. It's still reality. That's still a reality that we face. It's like, I don't know how to tell people that they're more important than they think they are. They're more beautiful than they think they are. They're more than they think they are. People are, you're more than what your manager tells you you are. You're more than what the world makes you feel you are, because you're a part of me. It's like everyone is a part of me. So if you attack people, you're attacking a part of me. You know what I mean? It's like get into the habit of realizing yourself in another person. Realizing yourself in another person is simple. You guys both have the same emotions. I understand it's not like always true because everybody's got this skepticism now, which is it creates skepticism leads to dualism, which is just like opposition between you and another person, which is opposition within yourself. So skepticism is like a slippery slope to being unhappy. But being being a skeptic is not wrong. It's like I'm I have a certain level of skepticism because I'm a skeptic. I don't trust things because things haven't turned out the way that I thought they would in the past, and now a I have the pain that I pain really makes you a skeptic. It's like I experienced this before and it was painful, and you're trying to tell me now that I'm going to experience something and it's not going to be painful. The same is true for love in your heart. It's like, okay, my heart was broken before when I tried to fall in love, and now the same thing is true. It's like, okay, I mean, now the same thing should potentially be true, where if I put myself out there, my heart will get broken. But if you realize that you should put your heart out there again, because you could fall in love, then I bet you might fall in love. Or you might become more of a skeptic. It's like skepticism seems like a balancing act. Or in our current reality, it is a balancing act. Love is a balancing act, but skepticism is very prevalent within our society because people have experienced so much pain that everybody's becoming a skeptic. Everybody is becoming dual like diametrically opposed to each other because if everybody's a skeptic, then we're all like in a state of discomfort. I see skepticism as a certain level of discomfort because of past trauma or past pain that you experienced in a situation. So that's interesting. Um, I mean, that's true for me as well. I mean, I have experienced things over and over and over and over again, and I don't want to. It's like that has happened to me in the past of things that you don't want to happen over and over and over again. But imaginatively, that happens. Imaginatively, yes. I mean, like it's not real though. I wasn't like ever like I don't know how I got here, but I was never like raped over and over and over again. Like you can do that in your mind though, and pretend that an experience happened more times than it actually did or something. That's true. Um, but that never happened to me. Everything just happens once. I mean, we don't want to go here. This is a dark place we're going to now. It's getting dark. It's like, woo, I cannot handle this. This is going to be. It's dark, man. That's dark. I do not want to face this right now. I mean, I couldn't face this right now. It would be too hard. And I'm just talking from a place of like love. I love people and I don't want to I want to make sure that that's not happening to anybody. I just want to make sure that that's not happening to anybody. That didn't happen to me, but I still am curious to know because I'm just aware, curious human. I don't want to know. I mean, um, I want to know if it's possible to relive a memory over and over. I mean, that's really sad because I mean, I know people do that. People relive the same memory over and over and over again, and um, you can relive a memory over and over and over again. Like
you can just keep looking back and be stuck in the past and not have any. Um, that is possible. That does happen, but you have to get over that by just, you know, by being yourself and making new memories for yourself, or just realizing yourself as no memory, just pure being of love and light and love within yourself. You don't have to have a memory. Essentially, like, you'll always have a memory. It's not like you have to feel it all the time, though. um yeah, so there's that. I mean, that's crazy how many times you can look back on a memory and wish that it didn't happen, and wish that it had happened differently. That's true. I mean, I don't know that you can just wish that things have happened differently so many times, but they never will. You just have to become something in response to your memory and your reality and what happened. I mean, so much happened at once, I think, that we kind of lost ourselves in the flood of insane exponential growth. Like, that's what really happened. So many people were created at once that we just were. It was just like an explosion of consciousness. That was the internet. That was us. That was me. That was you. That was everything. That is us. And those that are still alive are still here. And those that have gone are gone. um, but automation. What else about it? I don't know. I can't take much more. It's a balancing act, though. Just peace and love is a balancing act. That's what we have to balance. Um, hmm. Yeah, feel yourself from within, and I understand automation is still gonna happen. It's still gonna take away a lot of jobs. It's still going. I can't stop it. Like, people are people. I mean, they have to change their own hearts and minds in time and realize that what they're doing to themselves is what they're making, and what they're making is not what they want to be. I mean, that's the shortest route to changing that pattern within consciousness, which is really the miniaturization of consciousness. It's like you took away the people, now it's just a pattern, except the people were a bigger pattern. The people were a part of a bigger pattern. So, what you really should have done was learn who the people are. I mean, that's what should have happened, but it didn't. So, so then you see, I mean, then you have to realize why. I don't know why. Why does anything happen? I don't know. I don't know why anything happens, really. Everybody gets sad sometimes, and everybody gets, yeah, everybody gets sad sometimes. But machines don't. It's like you've that's the other thing. It's like you've set these machines to work at like a certain emotional level. It's like they all created, or that's not true though. I just said that before. I already contradicted myself. The I said not the same emotional level. The first part was made with love and emotion. The artist made his painting and it was beautiful. And it was like, wow, this is an original. There's nothing else like this painting. And then you replicate it, you lose something. You lose something. You lose that authenticity. You lose
you lose the originality and you lose something. I mean, that's the point, you know? It's like art exists because it's beautiful and because there is originality and authenticity. And I mean, I don't know. Now we're getting into crazy territory because now we're going to start talking about fungible tokens. And it's going to be like, yeah, great. You made like a little thing that nobody understands deep within the technological singularity of consciousness that you just pretend that you know that there's like a single thing that can't be replicated, but it's just a fucking picture. You just made like pictures one-offs, and let's all pretend that pictures are just one-offs, and we can sign them. We'll just create this system, and we'll call it like fungible tokens, like, and then we'll create this like we'll put it on like this thing called the blockchain. It's like stop yourself from going insane. It might help a little bit because it might be a little bit fun, but it's not going to help that much because it's still gonna maybe you don't have anything better to do. I think that's most people's problem. They just don't have anything better to do. Um, yeah, I don't think people have anything better to do than just like I don't know, than just look at things. I don't know. I'm in a weird time in a weird place. I don't know what else to do. I'm just gonna try to make more videos and explain things to myself and become more aware and try to become more like myself. And I'm gonna try to be happy because I'm so happy. All right, so I still don't understand it, but I think it's true because I perceived it. I perceived automation as the miniaturization of consciousness because all of these people that were automating a single process into existence didn't realize that they were a bigger pattern than the pattern they were making. I don't know what implications this has, but you lose something. It's a strange reality.